on, guys? Welcome back. And today I'm going to be talking about, speaking of back, we're going to be talking about Mr. Beck. Okay, I'm sorry, that was a really bad joke. But today I'm going to be talking more about Spider-Man Far From Home. And I know it's been a week since my last video, and I asked in that video if you wanted to see another video talking about, Spider-Man Far From Home. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be talking about Spider-Man Far From Home again. Just bringing up some stuff that I wanted to bring up in the last video and that I forgot, or stuff that I just wanted to talk about on this viewing because I've seen the film a second time now. So yeah, I just wanted to discuss it again. One thing I did want to ask you though is, please answer me in the comments. This video will be filled with spoilers, by the way. There are some spoilers right here in the figure selection that I chose. But I won't tell you what are spoilers and what aren't. But I lost this arm for my custom black and red Spidey here. The other arm's still there though, so do you want to see a video on it anyway, even without the printed arm? Because I'm ordering I have another arm coming in from Bricklink, so let me know. But anyway, we're going to be talking about Far From Home again, so spoiler warning, of course, to all of you who haven't seen the film yet. This video will be going into spoilers completely. So now I know I said I wouldn't re-review any more MCU films after Civil War. This isn't actually a review, technically. It's just kind of another, it's a second part. I've done these second part reviews sometimes for Marvel movies, like I did one for Endgame and one for Infinity War, where I did 2 videos on it. And this film, there's a lot I wanted to discuss, so I'm going to be going into it again, and this will be the last video I do, reviewing it. And then I will be done talking about MCU films. But anyway, I wanted to talk about how they photoshopped Jake Gyllenhaal into the background, so I just feel like this is kind of a lazy form of storytelling, which is, the Marvel movies, as they go along, they invent new story threads that they want to write in. And with this one, I rewatched Civil War because I did my review, and they definitely photoshopped Jake Gyllenhaal into the background of one of the shots from that film where Tony is doing his binarily augmented, whatever that, or barf, when he's doing his barf demonstration. They photoshopped him in, and I think that's kind of a lazy form of storytelling because all they do is flashback. And with the one guy from the first Iron Man, it worked because that was actually him and it's the same actor. But with that, it's like they photoshopped him in, they could have, because they're saying that he invented that tech. So why not show a scene that we have never seen before, where they have him talking to Tony about the whole reality thing, the whole barf thing. And then I feel like I sound so silly saying that, but I think that they should have maybe done a flashback instead of just lazily photoshopping him in. And actually not just showing us, it's part of the show don't tell rule. Instead of just photoshopping him in, it just feels kind of lazy to me, because he wasn't there in that film. So it's it's one of those things with Marvel where it's so telling that they just invented this afterwards, and then they wanted to change that. It just feels so lazy to me. I think they could have done a flashback to him and Tony talking about barf, and then and then Robert Downey Jr. could have come back for a paycheck or something. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. That is something I like about the film, is how they didn't need to have a flashback to Tony, and they just kind of keep they have this sort of this way of Tony is kind of ominously watching over the film. His shadow is over the entire film, but doesn't overtake, and he never actually makes an appearance because he's dead. But I just think that's really cool. The action scenes I wanted to talk about is something I didn't talk about. This will be a shorter video, by the way. Something I wanted to talk about in my original video, which I didn't, was the action scenes in this film are fantastic. The one scene where he does the illusions on Peter, that is such a cool scene in the middle of the movie. It's kind of dizzying, but that's what's so great about it. It takes him back through time. He's wearing all the different suits. And the way they experiment with audio, where it's he sounds like he's kind of echoing, and then suddenly you just hear the whole but then suddenly the audio sounds so much clearer, and he's like, maybe Tony would still be alive. Then zombie Tony comes out of the ground, and then the illusions keep coming, and then you think it's over. Nick Fury shoots him, but then you're like, wait, something's up, and then of course the illusions keep coming, and he keeps sending Peter through all the illusions. It's just so well done, and such a cool scene. Um, so yeah, I love that whole sequence. But then also like the action at the end where he's fighting all the drones is really cool. So you get to see him using his intellect, like he uses the shield and then throws the shield up, and you know he kind of looks like Thor, but like it's like the whole like thing where you know he gets the the London Bridge sign, and then he gets like that thing and he starts fighting those drones, and then he jumps up to fight Mysterio, and then he fights Mysterio through that hallway, and then when he has to use his Spidey sense or his Peter Tingle, and he jumps through the hallway fighting all the drones in the dark. It's just so cool. Like it gets dark, it goes dark, and then he's like, okay, you gotta use your Spidey sense, and then he jumps through it, fights all the drones in the dark. It's such cool action. Then also when he's fighting the drones, it switches from perspectives where like in the trailers, all those shots you see of him swinging, he's actually on fire. So like he's on fire, swinging through all these drones, and then also they switch perspectives to like you see like a drone perspective where it shows like a drone flying and you see Peter fighting them. It's just such cool action, and it's just such a cool action scene. So that's what I wanted to say. It's some of the most creative Spider-Man action I've ever seen. Um, Definitely up there with the train scene from Spider-Man 2. Just so cool. Um, and I said in the original video that I thought that the chemistry between MJ and Peter is really good, and it really is. And Zendaya and Tom Holland have great chemistry, but I just couldn't help but feel there was something missing from that whole dynamic in the film rewatching it on second viewing. Maybe I won't feel the same way when it comes out on digital and I watch it a lot more. But I just feel like there's something missing. Like it just feels really weird because like they kind of hint at it in Homecoming that MJ likes Peter, but they never really hinted the fact that he likes her. So then when this movie picks up, it's just he just likes her immediately. Like the opening scene, he's just talking about his plans and how he's gonna confess to her, and it's like what? Like you're just gonna like they never developed that before in like the past ones. Maybe like a few lines in like Infinity War or something. I don't know, just something. But like it just feels like really weird and abrupt how it starts and he just likes MJ in this one now. Um, it's not the problem that it doesn't feel like MJ likes Peter because they set that up in Homecoming. But the fact that Peter likes MJ is just kind of really out of the blue in this movie. Um, and it just feels like they really did just drop the whole Liz thing. And I didn't really like Liz. I definitely like this pairing more than Liz and Peter, but it just feel like they just really did drop that whole dynamic in the first film. And it's like, okay, why have that in the first film in the first place anyway? Like, if you're just going to drop it completely. Um, but, you know, it's fine. Um, okay, and then I did want to... The main reason I wanted to make this video was to kind of apologize about a point I made in my original video, which was Quentin Beck didn't have time to make that video when Peter was... Because at the end of the film, in the post-credit scene, or the mid-credit scene, when it shows that news broadcast, um, it shows Quentin Beck making a video, and it doesn't seem um, like it doesn't look like he had enough time to make it in the actual scene in the film. I now realize that I think he filmed that before, because if you listen, when he jumps up through the roof and then punches him in the face, he says, "Your lies are over, Beck," and then he says, "Oh, that would be the most ideal, but I have contingencies." So I think his contingencies, that was one of his contingencies, is if he fails here, he is going to make this video. So I think he made that video. When it shows one shot of Peter saying, you know, execute them all. I don't know why he used the word execute. That definitely would come back to bite him. But they make it sound like the artificial intelligence is like, are you sure there will be significant casualties? So that was added in, and I think his whole team of people cooked that up because I think he probably made that back in his evil lair, and then they photoshopped that background into it, and then they photoshopped the suit over the motion capture suit or something, or maybe he was wearing the physical version of the costume. That's what I think. He said he has contingency, so I think he filmed that beforehand. And then the one video where it shows him saying execute them all, that was definitely official because I think a drone was filming that in the actual hallway. So that's what I think happened there. I apologize. I picked up on that in this viewing. I didn't pick up on that in the first viewing, that I think he actually filmed that beforehand, before the battle, if he failed. That would be his contingency plan. One of his contingency plans, that is. Um, Um, they also do. I did want to say they definitely did smartly set up the Skrull reveal at the very end of the film. There are some hints, like something I thought was really odd in the first viewing was Nick Fury, when he's talking up to Peter and introducing him to Quentin Beck, he says, "This is Mr. Beck. Mr. Beck is from Earth, just not yours." And I was like, why would he say yours and not ours, like in the trailer? But then realized at the end, when it's revealed they're Skrulls, I think that's probably just Talos messing up and being like, oh shoot. Um, and then also at one point he's talking to Hill, and they mention, I didn't know that the Skrulls had sleeper cells, or the Kree had sleeper cells. I picked up on that because a bunch of people brought that up. So those are definitely the two biggest setups to Talos and his wife being revealed at the very end. Um, Once again, I'm not sure what I think of that twist. It's definitely pretty funny, um, uh, but I don't really think it fits in the movie. I don't think it needed to be in this movie, but you know, it does work because um, I did think that Nick Fury was acting out of character because he was acting kind of goofy. Like when he started laughing at the end when Happy was talking to him, I was like, he's acting really out of character. But it is revealed that he's a Skrull, so it doesn't feel like it's out of character anymore. But at the same time, I would have preferred they didn't go with that in this film and just keep them in character. Because my dad was like, "Oh, I feel like they were acting a little bit too like friendly, like him and Hill, like when she's like, 'I gotcha,' and he said like that feels like they're a little bit too coupley." I didn't feel that at all. I thought that was just kind of the same banter that they always have in these movies. Um, but you know, obviously they are a couple, so that makes sense now. Because it's Talos and his wife. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I just wanted to bring that up, that they do set up the Skrull twist, but I still don't know what I think of that twist. Um, and then we have the music, which I love. I was gonna bump this movie up a grade just for the music because I love the Mysterio theme. Like the Mysterio theme is so good. And then Michael Giacchino, he's just such a great composer. Like he did the Star Trek theme um, for the 2009 film with the Chris Pine movies. That's a fantastic score. He did Spider-Man: Homecoming, which is still one of my favorite MCU scores, and this will go down as one of them as well. I don't know if Mysterio's theme is better than Vulture's theme, but it might go down as being just as good. So Mysterio's theme is fantastic, definitely the standout. But there's some great like themes as well. One for Nick Fury that they invented for this movie, and then the Spider-Man theme from Michael Giacchino from Homecoming. They added some variety to it. They changed it up a little bit, which is very cool. And I think that's all I have to mention in this video. I do think that's pretty much it. It's a shorter video for sure, but I just wanted to clarify some points that I got wrong in my first video and talk about some extra things that I noticed on second viewing. Um, Once again, I'm not changing my rating. I think it's still a B plus for me. Not as great as Homecoming and not as great as Spider-Verse or Spider-Man 3. But it's still a very fun, enjoyable watch, and I really enjoyed it on this watch, and I think I enjoyed it a little bit more on rewatch than I did the first time. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think of this extra little Spider-Man Far From Home video. I'm doing this one for you guys, and then I'm done talking about MCU movies. I'm done doing reviews. But anyway, let me know, please. Do you want to see a showcase on this figure, even without the arm that I'm ordering? Because the arm might not be here for a little while, but I will definitely do a video on it eventually, once the arm comes in. But yeah, please let me know all your thoughts in the comments below, and I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.